let's talk about this. Let's talk about how Americans are going to survive outside of America with the collapse of the current economic system. If you're not aware, stocks have taken a deep plunge, a huge plunge that they typically don't take. The tariffs have actually made the dollar a bit stronger, but there are some other things that are going on behind the scenes that tell us the Western economy of America is not all that great. Number one, with these tariffs being in effect, and I'm no economist, I'm no financial advisor, but I am a forward-thinking entrepreneur. And with these tariffs, you are going to see an immediate increase in cost of living, especially as it relates to food and imports from China specifically. Now, if you didn't know, Chinese imports are halted right now through the U.S. mail system, meaning they cannot ship anything into China. So those of you who run businesses, maybe e-commerce, online businesses, or you have a product-based business where you are buying stuff from China, you're in a little hole right now because you cannot acquire those products at the current moment. Who knows if you'll be able to acquire them next week? Maybe it'll be all cleared up next week. But these are not things that a thriving economy does. These are very last minute manipulative measures to like get somebody to do something quick so that you can try and turn things around, because that administration has admitted it themselves. The U.S. economy is not necessarily that great at this time, and it's no secret. Americans know this. Everybody knows it. I mean, with the global world stage we're on and the news that we have out at this day and time, every country can see it. And then we need to talk about DeepSeek AI that just basically also sent the stock market down. Aside from the tariffs, there was like a little frenzy, a little scare. People were like, how did China create this AI? What is going on with it? And it really shocked stocks like Nvidia. It shocked MicroStrategy. It shocked a lot of like robotic manufacturers and things like that. And let's not forget what's happening in Central Africa, in the Congo, where Apple is known to, Samsung as well, Android, all the folks, okay, that make these phones have been known to come into these nations and to wreak havoc on the people that are in the mines. They're mostly children doing modern day slave labor. And you know, these aren't things that wonderful economies, abundant economies do. But we also need to think about, with the collapse of this modern Western empire and the rise of the East, the rise of Africa, you're going to see also a shift in values, because Westerners value different things than Easterners and people who are in Africa and the Middle East. Westerners value capitalism, convenience, get it while it's good, get it while it's hot, get it right now, right this second. You need to be subjected under me. It's about me, 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 me. Whereas Africans, Middle Easterns, and Easterners more so view the world from a different lens of socialism, more so communal, more so if we don't all have it, then none of us got it. And it's a slower pace of life, I can put it like that, you know. Westerners don't live a slow pace of life. Even just walking down the street in a country that we're in, like Mauritius in Africa. And of course, we've traveled and lived in Tanzania for a great deal of time, went through Kenya, spent time in Zambia, probably going to spend some time in South Africa soon. And it's so different from the way that people move in America. And so you're going to see the collapse not only of an economic structure to bring in a new digital one, but you're also going to see the switch of values to where the West values certain things, and some people that are so embedded and enthralled with the West will have a difficult time getting over these things. But in Africa, the Middle East, or in Eastern countries, you live a different life. Like, can you imagine you have a slow morning, you wake up, you view the mountainside, and you drink tea in the morning with a little bit of milk, a little chai, right? And you're just enjoying, you have a piece of chapati, you go about your day, you're not in a rush, hurry. There's not all of this pressure on you. We are returning to the ancient paths because everybody on earth has woken up and realized Western society just isn't sustainable. And if it was, this great kingdom, as they like to call it, this great free, what they call it, the free world, whatever, the leader of the free world, you know, it would be looking a lot different there, since it's still typically a new country. Like, obviously it's not as old as Great Britain and Italy and Rome and Spain, Portugal, right? Some of these countries they've been around for some time, as well as look at ancient Egypt, which is now whited out. But you look at Ethiopia, one of the oldest civilizations, if not the oldest civilization on earth, that's still in standing and still, has retained its people and is still, Ethiopia, by the way, looks gorgeous. Just looking at some of these videos I see of Ethiopia, I really want to visit. But that's besides the point. We're coming to a time where people can see and they can no longer fall for the propaganda. When you're on the internet, you can clearly see how people are living. You can clearly feel the vibrations through the screen of whether or not people are happy. That's what got people so up in arms about TikTok and that other thing. What was that Chinese app called? Red Note? I haven't been on it, but it was an app. And people were like, oh my gosh, people in China are living so different than America. And it's like a lot of people are waking up a little bit late, because us and many who have gone before us knew that this was the reality and decided to leave America a while ago. And so when you ask the question, how are Americans going to survive outside of America? Well, you mean they're just going to have oxygen, they're going to have water, they're going to have organic food and nature everywhere, affordable luxury houses. It's just real simple. They're just going to walk down the street and survive. They're going to live their best life. They're going to, run their online business if that's what they want to do, open a storefront if that's what they want to do, go back to farming if that's what they want to do, invest in gold, invest in silver, invest in stocks. There's a multitude of things that people can do because our people are very talented. We are some of the most talented people on the face of the planet. And so we've never lacked any good thing in that aspect. And so when you ask these questions and when you think of this, like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? What are they going to do? How are you going to survive abroad? You have to depend on America. And it's like, you really don't have to depend on America. You have your own resources that are inside of your brain, your intellectual property, your own experiences, your own views that you can use to collaborate in different African economies, not just one, but you can diversify and have a residence permit in one, travel to another, and form these networks throughout these different communities. Because we also need to talk about the resource that is humanity, human capital, okay? Just being good with humanity, being good with people, being a good person and being a good person to people and being in community, because networks are very important. And lastly, for those of us who are outside of America and will always be outside of America, the other way that we survive is the goodness of the Most High. The Most High, he's not limited. I don't know why a lot of Americans feel this way. It's a very prideful way to think. But a lot of Americans are like, oh my gosh, they act like the Most High doesn't exist outside of America. And, we always remind you guys, America's 4% of the world population. And so it's kind of foolish to be like, oh my gosh, how can you survive? Well, the rest of the world has survived just fine. America just got on the scene in 1776. The earth, America didn't create the earth. I don't know if nobody told y'all that or what, but America didn't create the earth. America is not the end all be all. It will fall. There will be maybe another kingdom after it, or maybe not. Maybe it will be one of the final kingdoms as the end times player. But at the end of the day, life goes on. The sun still shines. Life goes on indefinitely. There, you can see this new construction back here. Like, life goes on. Whether you from America, whether you in America, whether you from Canada, you in Canada, whether you're from Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, Dubai, life goes on. It's just the earth is going to continue. The world's going to go on, even with the changes in the economy. But the real question is, what side of this equation do you want to be on? Where is your lineage designated to be in the end days? That's the question that you have to ask yourself and ask the Most High. Like, Father, lead me to where I'm supposed to be in these times. Show me what I'm supposed to do for my lineage, not just for you, but for your lineage, for the trajectory after you, and for the community that you are anointed and appointed to serve.